All right. So this is 2023 Scholarship Information Night. So from this year onward, we do have, actually start from last year onward, we do have 3 campuses now. So we do have Box Hill campus, Chester campus, and Glen Ara campus. Maybe some of the campuses close to you, you will be interested to know their location. Feel free to send an email or maybe call them straight away. So tonight, I'm going to try to focus on 7 different topics. Some of the topics will be, I will stretch a little bit more, but some of the topics, I will try to skip them. Now, I'm going to help you to selecting a school, decide which school or which are the schools we are going to focus on. Then we're going to discuss about examination structures for private high schools. And we're going to talk about start from this year. Since last year and this year, there are several new policies coming out from private school examination or from the public school extension programs. Then we are going to talk about our program and how we are going to help students to improve their progress as well. Let's start. So the first topic, we are going to talk about how to select a school. So the main question we may considering is about we're going to select a public school or private school. Maybe perhaps when the students come into year 7, so into the high school, should we choose a public or private? I mean, this question is always coming out from my friendship groups or from my friends around, even sometimes couples. They argued a lot. Wife prefer a private schools, but husband will prefer a public schools. It's coming around as an ongoing discussion topic for generations to generation. But because my background is based on research, so we prefer, let the data, let the numbers to tell the story. Let's have a look at last year's school ranking from VCE. All right, I may quickly just, change a little bit for 2 pages view. It may be very small from my side, but you may have a look at, highlight part with yellow highlights. These are the VCE results from last year, top 100 schools. Okay. Got it. Okay. Can you see that from my share screen? No? Okay, maybe I think this is still processing. Sorry about that. This one will be delayed a little bit, but let me just count with everyone together. For top 100 schools, if we just, count about 4 selective high schools, Melbourne High School, Mac Robinson, sorry, I think I may just mark wrong one. This is Melbourne Grammar School. Melbourne High Schools, Mac Robinson, also high schools, and Susanna Corey high schools. Then on top of those 4, we do have John Monash Science School. So those 5 selective high schools are included into top 100, except those top 5, because they are selecting the students from each of the school for top 5%. So they are supposed to perform very well. But on top of those 5 schools, for example, East Doncaster, they ranked top 48 last year. Then Bowen High Schools, top 55. So this is the first time for last 5 years, East Doncaster Secondary College, their VCE scores, ranked higher than Bowen High School. So East Doncaster Secondary College, the VCE scores, compared to all of the other public schools, they ranked as top 1 last year. Bowen High School, top 2. Then Box Hill High School, Auburn High School, Brighton Secondary College. Then Glen Ara, Frankston High Schools, then etc., etc. So in total for top 100, we only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 and 10. Maximum 10 schools from public systems, including 5 selective high schools. So from our point of view, even selective high school is not only private school is not only focused on the VC result, but at the same time, they are focusing overall. That's why if family have some of the support, parents are affordable, I think most of the families, I couldn't say most, but some of the families, they prefer to send in the kids to the private school. But at the same time, how are you going to decide which school or which other schools may be suitable for your boys or suitable for your girls? The first experience will be very, very essential. So first-hand experience will be school tour. Visit the school, book the school tour. Even some of the schools didn't book the school tour or open day, but they organize for private school tour. You can call them, you can make appointment with them. Either way should be all right. My experience is for my older one. When he was born, within 1 month, I quickly, attended every school tour. But when I was pregnant, I quickly attended every school tour around me for all of the private schools, even public schools, and some of the religion schools as well. So you do have some of feeling why I like the school, why I don't like the school. This is very important for every family, especially for your kids and yourself. So this kind of such belongings really help you to clarify whether or not I will like the school. The friends' experience, yes or no. I don't mind some parents, maybe some friends will give you some suggestions, based on my experience, my kids going to the school. But I do have some, not quite welcoming feeling, or I do have some concern about which program. So everyone's perspective will be just from his or from her own. So it's quite limited information for you to understand the whole picture. I do think that friend's experience just present as hers or as his. Do not take in too much, but we're willing to hear from different way. From schools, from the other friends as well. Then from maybe school's program, you'd better talk to the school's coordinator or talk to the school's admission head. Either way will be better. Let's have a look at, important year levels. If we do have some students, they are currently year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, year 8, year 9, or year 10. Those information are very, very important for you. It seems that it's covering all of year levels if your kids are up to or above year 3. Year 5 entry, we do have some private schools they are offering for scholarship. Most of the girls' schools, they offer year 5 entry scholarships. Only Trinity Grammar, Halliburton, and some limited private schools, they offer boys for year 5 entry scholarship. So boys' opportunities are quite limited, unfortunately. Now, year 7 entry and year 9 entry, actually most of the private schools, they offer scholarship. For year 7 entry and all of the public schools, they were offering extension examination for them to get into the SEAL program. For year 9 entry, either you can go into private school or you do have opportunities to get into selective high schools. For year 10 entry, same page. But year 10 entry will be only several schools. For example, Carey, Halliburton, they're offering year 10 entry, and Lauriston. And John Monash Science School will offer year 10 entry because they are the science selective high schools. Then year 11 entry, some of the private schools will offer, but it really depends on how excellent your subjects will reach to. So if you are targeting for year 11 entry, private schools are seriously choose the students who are going to be accelerated into the VC examination. For year 11 selective high school entries, actually John Monash High School, you will still have opportunities. The other one is Elizabeth Blackburn High Schools for science. So, if you want to get something, every year you will have some opportunities to accelerate yourself. I'll quickly show you some of the private school, the campus photo for your brief idea. For example, the first of all is Scotch College. So this building has more than 140 years history. I mean, based on their academic results, last year, 53% boys of the whole year 12, they are reached to media score, they are all ATA score 90 plus. So which means if you are in whole year 12, if you are the average students, your ATA score will be 90 plus. This is last year's experience. The second school is Melbourne Grammar School. So Melbourne Grammar School is a tradition Catholic background school. Their English and math program, even orchestra and even music program, very amazing. So most of the boys, they are willing to go into Melbourne Grammar School. And in primary schools, Melbourne Grammar and Girls Grammar, they offer co-ed primary. So this year, we do have students receive very top or high percentage scholarship from Melbourne Grammar School. Then Haileybury. Haileybury, I believe this is the most popular co-ed school. Everyone knows Haileybury. Hillsborough campus is their main campus. Their accelerated VC score, no one can beat them at this moment, isn't it? Then MLC. MLC is the biggest girls' school. This is the only girls' school the size can beat with Melbourne Grammar or Scotch College. MLC's values and mottos is raise up the girls leading the world. I do believe some of the girls really have this philosophy or carry on this philosophy put into their practice. Then this is most academic girls' schools, PLC. Located in Burwood. I think if you're close to southeastern suburbs, PLC will be one of the best choice for you. Who do know where is this school? Which school it is? Is anyone have some idea that which school it is?
Unique building.
Yeah, looks like it's on top of the mountain, isn't it? Oh, very close. Very close. This is Lauriston. Yeah, Lauriston Girls' School in year 9, they offer 1-year Hawker program. So girls are going to stay in the Hawker Mountain for the whole year. They are going to try all of the different physical activities, for example, hiking, horse riding, snow ski, then even meditation. So those programs really shape Lauriston girls as, very tough and independent personalities. Because Lauriston is popular with their IB programs. Even MLC, PLC, they do have IB programs, but it seems Lauriston is more keen to push their girls into IB program. Let's have a look at public schools, top level public schools. The first one is the top boys' school, Melbourne High School, located in South Yarra. The second one is Mac Robinson, the top level of the girls' schools. And the third one and fourth one, they are Susanna Corey, located in Werribee campus, and Berwick, in Berwick, Northall High Schools. So those four are very high academic levels in BCE examination. And all boys and girls, they are be selected into the schools. So all of your cohort or classmates are very enthusiastic in academics. But even in some of the sports, some of the students or some of the schools are very, accelerated as well. All right, this is first-hand experience for everyone. I think it is better if you can visit to the school, have a view, then have a feel their culture, the values, and the boys and girls, then you will feel different. All right, let's come down to the ground. Why we should prepare the scholarship examination? Because for most of boys, if you didn't apply the position, when you were born, you will lose this opportunity. They may have long waiting queue. How can you skip the queue then get the position from the school? But at the same time, you pay less of the tuition fee than getting to the school. And school will give you exceptional attention at the same time to accelerate yourself, to improve yourself, give you all of the resources to you and provide all of the, best teaching resources to you. These are the scholarship receivers' benefits. So let's have a look at the first popular examination structures. In the whole Victoria, we normally have 3 different examination structures. The first one will be ACER, ACER. Even the VCE examination has been developed by ACER. So all of the VCE statistics and all of the VCE structures all developed by ACER system. So they are very popular. But for the scholarship examination, ACER style, they are going to have 4 components. 2 pieces of writing, it could be 1 creative writing and 1 persuasive writing. But some of the schools, they will give you 2 narrative writings. It really depends on which flavor they want to go. So schools will discuss with, examination system. Then the ACER will give them the test, will develop the test papers for them based on their needs. The second component will be humanities. It's about reading comprehension, but not only comprehension itself, because humanities, based on this definition, is quite complicated. It's including the interpretation as well. So interpretation, which means sometimes you can't see the answer straight away from the passage, but you have to analyze. Then based on the reading context, based on the reading text, you are going to interpret, then analyze, or predict what is going to happen, or to compare which option will be the closest answer to it. So humanities is very challenging for most of our families, especially for boys, I have to say. But if you keep reading a lot day by day, you will be very accelerated in this component. And mathematics looks like they do have enough time to finish questions. In Xavier College, the examination last year, 40 minutes, students are required to finish 28 questions only. So it seems that we do have enough time to finish all of the math questions, but each of the questions will be as long as, even longer than 5 or 8 sentences. It sounds like, it's one piece of, every question will be one short piece of reading comprehension first. Then you are going to unpack the information, interpret it into your math language, then solve the problems. So as I heard from this year's students, some of the students didn't finish 28 questions in 40 minutes. Sounds quite challenging. Then let's have a look at, which other schools they are using ACER system. Hunting Tower, this is very popular private schools because they do have girls and boys and very close to Mount Waverley. I believe most of our parents from Cheston, they are very close to Hunting Tower. Mm-hmm. So I know that because Hunting Tower, they do have co-ed. If your family have both girls and boys, their first option will be Hunting Tower. Then Covington Grammar. Covington Grammar located in Ormond. It's a small school, but they are co-ed as well. Then Mentone Girls Grammar, MLC, PLC, and Xavier. So since recently, Xavier, at this moment, the boys' school who still use ACER style. But they are very popular because since this year, selective high school examination will transfer from EduTest system that apply into ACER. This is big change for all of our year 8 students.
You mean the seal program?
Yeah, not seal program. Oh. It's about selective high school entry examination for year 9 students entry. The second structures from examination system is EduTest system. So if we have a look at together, EduTest system, they do have so many components. Each of the component, English, we do have 2 components, math 2, writing 2. Then time will be very limited. For all of the multiple choice for both English and math, 30 minutes, you are going to finish 50 or 60 questions, as well as shading the answer sheet. Writing, you are going to have 15 minutes to finish all of them. Oh, sorry, finish one of them. 15 minutes for creative writing for year 7 students entry. But if you are targeting for year 9 entry, the school may ask you to write 2 pieces of writing. One is creative, the other one is persuasive writing. So this year, a big change is Caulfield Grammar, they move from ASA into EduTest system. Then for EduTest system, there's a very, very important policy is they are going to allow our students to share the result. Allow the school to share the result, which means in semester 1, only semester 1, term 1 and term 2, if you are going to write the scholarship test, which other school use EduTest system. For example, 4th of February, I'm going to write examination for Campbell Grammar. Then Caulfield Grammar will be 11th of February. I have to apply for both of the schools online, but I'm only going to sit or write the earliest school, Campbell Grammar, on 4th. Then we don't need to write another time for EduTest in Caulfield Grammar, but your result from Campbell Grammar will directly send it through EduTest to Caulfield Grammar. Any questions about this part?
There's a rumor say the other school which been shared with the result, students got less chance to be considered.
If sharing the result, students will get less consideration.
Considered or some unfair thing. Like
I thought so. Before 2023, I thought so. I thought if I write examination, if a boy write examination in Campbell Grammar School, then share with Caulfield Grammar, then Caulfield Grammar will not considering his application. Before 2023, I will say yes. But this year, based on my students' experience, I will say, if you are exceptional top-level students, they will consider.
Yeah.
They will consider. I got a message. Dr. Olivia, can you elaborate on testing system and information for Mac-Robinson girls, if possible, please? Yes, not a problem. Mac-Robinson, they are using ASA style this time. This is Mac-Robinson examination style. If your child who are good at reading and writing, then they may have more opportunities this year. But at the same time, math couldn't be weak because for the selective high school examination, most of the girls and boys, they are very good in mathematics. If we don't have any questions about EduTest, I'm going to move on to AAS. AAS this year is quite surprised me because Melbourne Grammar, they start using AAS. 5 years ago, Melbourne Grammar used test system as EduTest. A couple of years ago, they swapped into ASA system. Now this time they're moving to Melbourne Grammar AAS.
Start from this year?
Start from this year. So AAS maybe most of us are not quite familiar with. It's about academic assessment. So they are going to have 4 components. 1, writing. So most of the time will be narrative writing. So they will give you enough time, to be honest. 25 minutes of writing, if based on our scholarship preparation class, is quite enough. So we normally limit students' writing time as 15 minutes to 20 minutes. So 25 minutes will be good enough. The second piece is reading comprehension, mathematics, and reasoning. So those three components we have been practiced inside of class. The fourth one is abstract reasoning and problem solving. So this one is a little bit tricky because it's more about numerical reasoning knowledge. 40 or 45 minutes, students are asked to finish 70 questions. But all multiple choice is not too difficult. So most of the questions are number pattern, number sequence, or spatial sequence. So which means this is first picture, second picture, and third picture. They do turn a little bit or fit in some of the shape inside of the picture. Now you are predicting which one is the fourth one, A, B, C, D, or E. Don't stress, we have been practicing enough. Previous years, normally the schools who are using AAS system all from girls' schools, but this year Melbourne Grammar added in. And previous years, whenever they use EduTest system or ACE system, Melbourne Grammar always provide extra 1 hour additional examinations. In 1 hour, students are going to require to finish one big writing and one big logic thinking problem solving. But this year, they didn't offer their own exam, just AAS. Yeah, now new policies. As we introduced previously that test styles and schools, they have been changed. If you're looking for the public school extension program, please always keep updating your school zones. And SEAL program has been changed since 2022. I think maybe it's because we try to avoid some of the bad conflicts or, very serious competitions inside of school zone and outside school zone. So the education department only allow the year 6 students cannot occur prior to the statewide release of year 7 placement offers on 20th of July. So which means SEAL program examination only can be placed after 20th of July. So this cutoff date is very tricky. For all of year 6 students from term 1 or term 2, you are going to submit all of your applications to the school to announce which public school will be your first priorities, second and third. You are going to select 3 schools as you're potentially going to the schools. But before end of term 2, the decision has been made. Then the examination only can be held on after 20th of July. So which means in term 3 or the end of the term 3. So which means maybe most of the schools only allow their own students to write the examination to get into the extension program. But as I know last year, there were only 1 or 2 public schools. They still allow the outside school zone students to write examination on the day. If you want to know, we can share some information later on. Yeah, private school scholarship test dates. So start from this year, the private school scholarship examination dates has been, most of the school, they don't change too much. Only Halliburton, if you have received our email from office, Halliburton has, has going to organize the examination in July. So if your target will be Halliburton, seriously, please be aware, please let us know straight away. So we're going to organize a kind of, maybe the results review for your child. We may just advise some of the potentially suggestions to you and your child to preparing them ready. Because if the year 3 students write the year 5 entry scholarship examination, or year 5 write for year 7, so which means basically there has to be 1.5 years ahead writing for the examination. So that preparation will be exceptional, huge. Overall, I mean overall, not only for math or English. Okay, one of parents asked about, my son is year 5 this year. I was applied the scholarship from Essendon, but I think Essendon said, apply next year. Any scholarship open this year for year 7 in 2025? Not yet, not yet. Halliburton examination is going to open in March. I think if you are willing to try, you can try that first. But most of the schools' examination for scholarship entry into year 7 will be released date or open for registration in November or December this year. Penley Essendon definitely in December.
There are some schools, their test sits in October.
Yes. As we know that Corowa examination for girls will be happened in end of July this year. So their time has been moved forward as well. And some of the school, Brighton Grammar, Salinas, they are going to have the examination. Normally, year 5 write for year 7 entry, but end of October. Let's wait and see what they are going to organize for this year. We'll keep everyone updating. And for some of the girls' schools, I think Mentone Girls Grammar, yeah, they are going to organize very early. And Yarra Valley Grammar normally end of term 2 or beginning of term 3. Okay. Yeah, so Yarra Valley Grammar last year was the top level of the school who increased dramatically based on the VCE result. Yeah, we do have so many Yarra Valley students from year 11, year 12 working with us together, doing extra tuition with us together. So we even have some of students, one student accelerated into Cambridge University from Yarra Valley Grammar. One student asked, can you for the... Yes, parents, please mute yourself. Can year 4 student apply for the examination for year 5 scholarship, or only year 3 can apply for year 4 scholarship? Depends on which school, dear. Depends on which school. If this is a girl, most of the girls' schools, they do have every year levels entry. But if this is a boy, year 3, right, for year 5 entry. Can you explain why we need to prepare Halliburton 1.5 years early? Can you give an example? My son is in year 3. All right, if you're quite confident with your boy's academic results, and if you can teach your boy at home, always be accelerated at least 2 years ahead than his year levels, at least 2 years ahead, then you don't need to prepare. And Halliburton is a very competitive school, as you know, because their VC results is exceptional top levels, and they do have girls and boys. So for the scholarship receiver, if this is a boy, then girls' opportunities took 1/2. The boys' opportunities only another 1/2. But at the same time, seldom boys' school offer very top level of the scholarships. So boys' performance compared to girls sometimes could be not quite stable enough. That's why we suggest if it's in year 3, definitely prepare ahead. Now, writing, naturally, girls are a little bit advanced than boys, but depends on whether your boy loves reading or not. If he loves reading, that will be better. They will be a little bit easier to be improved in writing, but writing will be I'll introduce writing later on. Can I maybe answer the questions shortly? When do students sit for year 7 entry to private school? Depends on which school. All of parents for year 5 entry, year 5 write for year 7 or year 6 write for year 7? Both. Year 5 write for year 7 entry? Yes. Year 6 write for year 7 entry? Yes. I will explain why later on. Let's have a look at result sharing. Okay. Let us review that what kind of students or what kind of result they will be easily to get an offer from private school scholarship. So this is the results from our previous students or from our website. Now, if you have a look at the first one, who didn't get a scholarship, it seems compared to the second one, only one of component, which means mathematics, has performed not very well, 50%. Now, actually, this subject really dragged him down. So he didn't receive the scholarship. But overall, for the second student, math is top 10%, within top 10, I think maybe top 8 or top 7. Then reading and writing, they all very top levels. Overall, this student has been ranked into top 10%. So she or he received the interview, then eventually got the scholarship later on. So which means this weakness really dragged the whole marks down. We'd better really consider about our child, each of the family, which one or which tools may or may not be, or may be their strengths. Now we will need to maybe just push his advantages as much as we can, at the same time, lift up the weakness component. It's very, very important. Let's have a look at the EduTest result. This boy has been accepted into Campbell Grammar. The scholarship has been offered was 2/3. So basically, Campbell Grammar, they are using EduTest system. Verbal reasoning, all of the reasoning questions, reading and mathematics questions, multiple choice, they are ranked super top. Only writing ranked as top 12%, the second top levels. This is a result what we can see, but we didn't see the details because we don't know that in the top 11, superior 11% of the whole population, does he ranking as top 1%, top 2%, or top 11%? We don't know, but school will know exactly. School will have exactly result they want to know. All right, eventually we have to ask, who can win the scholarship? Students should do well in all round. Now levels up to the entry levels. So which means if you are targeting for year 5 entry, our current year 3 or year 4 students, if you're targeting for year 5 entry, when he write examination or when she write examination, their levels has to be reached to year 5 levels or beyond. So our current year 5 students, if you are targeting for year 7 entry scholarship, your English, math, and writing levels has to be at least year 7 levels or beyond. And resilience, I have to point out resilience. We do have high percentage of scholar receivers every year, but I always keep encouraging them to keep trying the different opportunities. So Halliburton will be the first one, possibly this year. So give a try. Resilience is when you're faced to the difficulties, then when you're faced to the failure, you never give up, but you bounced back. We really need to let our students to write the examination, get their first-hand experience from there. Then they will be ready for the next one. I do have so many stories for some of the girls or boys who refuse to write more examination before they join school, that they eventually didn't get in. Although their levels supposed to be get in, but lack of practice, lack of preparation, They didn't. Because you only got one chance for your best or for your most favorite school. So we have to be secure his performance on the day will be exceptionally top. So previous real examination experience will be very important for everyone. Then I have to point it out for all of parents. Most of the schools, private schools, they will organize examination when the students come into year 6 in February. For example, Scotch College, Melbourne Grammar, Campbell Grammar, they are going to organize the examination. If you're targeting for year 7 entry, your child is going to be write examination in February when he's going to be in year 6. Only several schools will offer the scholarship for year 7 entry when students has to write examination when they are in year 5 this year.
If that's the case, that's what I've mentioned. It's in October this year, and year 5 for year 7 entry. If that's the case, these schools are actually asking for more advanced students, right? Comparing to, because they haven't yet even finished their year 5 study.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. We couldn't imagine whether or not the whole cohort, the whole group of students writing on the examination on the day will be exceptionally top or higher or more advanced than the students coming to year 6. We don't know that. We don't know that. But definitely those schools want to have early selection.
Yeah.
Early selections. Yeah. So my condition, my implication for every parent will be if you are going to write examination for year 7 entry next year, when the students coming to year 6, or if you're going to write examination for students coming to year 9, when she going to be year 8 next year. Okay, the examination date will be early Feb. So whole February will be examination day. First of all, very, very important warning to all of families. Do not booking long holidays for them. Do not booking long holidays for them. We do have one student this year and last year who is supposed to be top levels, who is supposed to receive the scholarship, no drama. Then after the long holiday, when they came back, they just totally lost. They lost the working routine. They lost their ambitions. They lost their passion in study. So we have to reshape them back before an examination. It was very, very difficult for a child to resettle down. Please, parents, do not book a long holiday. If you want to book a holiday, that's okay. That's totally acceptable. But booking the holidays as early as possible. Whenever they finish the school, just go for the holiday. Maximum 2 weeks. Maximum 2 weeks. Please make sure they're coming back before the Christmas holiday. I only got one student who had a long holiday, but at the same time who received a scholarship during the year, because I pushed her every day to carry on her work on the trip in Europe for the whole 2 months. Can you believe that? Every day work in Europe, doing lots of questions. Then when she came back, she can do all of questions. She received 90% from MLC, 70% from carry, 50% from PLC. But ask your child whether or not he or she can do that. And your families can commit this workload as well. If not, we'd better not book a long holiday for them. After examination, you can have a long holiday as long as you can. Am I clear enough? Yes. I don't want our top level students lose these opportunities, because of the holiday. Let's move on. Who can win a scholarship? The most important work is writing. Now, this is the component. This is my most important component. I can't help. I want to share with everyone. Writing makes huge difference. Writing makes huge difference. No exception of the other options, because for ASA, EduTest, and AAS, except writing, the other questions are all multiple choice. You just need to select A, B, C, or D. You don't need to tell them the reason. All multiple choice. But writing is the only component students are producing by themselves. So in this product, the students create their own product. In this product, what does it look like? What is the appearance? What the bone frame looks like? Are they strong enough? Do they have muscle or do they have fat? It shows, it's give the reader or give the examination marker all of details about the student's overall potentials. So writing is the most important component for private schools to consider whether or not we shall offer you the scholarship, or how much percentage we're going to offer you. Do you want to hear a story? If you want to hear the real story from this year, I have to tell you the real example, okay? The real example this year, in 2023, I asked my English coordinator write a whole piece of writing suggestions to me. She gave all of the good ideas to how to write a good creative writing, how to write a persuasive writing. But I don't want to tell that, because students are supposed to know that. Parents, I may give you the story about how top level students can receive the scholarship. This year's writing topic from AAS on 4th of February was very, very challenging. The topic on 4th of February, those questions has been applied by Melbourne Grammar, at the same time Lauriston Girls' School for Year 7 entry. Okay, open your ears, let's hear this topic, let's listen to this topic. Henry was the most famous criminal lawyer in France. This was toughest case yet. Did you know this one? Did you write this one before? No. Okay, for all of our Year 6 students or Year 5 students, even Year 7 and Year 8, do you familiar with criminal lawyer, this position, this job? So do you familiar with how the lawyers are going to argue or discuss in the court? Even adults, for myself, I have no idea about how I'm going to write this piece of story. This is creative writing. So this year, from Lauriston Girls, one of our Year 6 students received interview offer. I asked her, how did you write the story? This girl told me, Henry, why this is toughest case? Actually, she twisted the story into eventually why this is toughest case, because Henry keep arguing and keep proving and keep giving the evidence to the whole court, but eventually Henry is the criminal himself. Can anyone think about, if you can write this piece of writing, how are you going to twist the story? So this is unpredictable ending or story or conflicts. If your story is unpredictable, then your writing will be exceptionally high levels. This is top level writing. I was shocked. I thought Lauriston definitely offer you the offer with high percentage. We're still waiting. And Melbourne Grammar this year has the same topic. Should I show you how much percentage Melbourne Grammar this year we received? If you have a look at here, Melbourne Grammar, we do have a boy received 80% from here. 80% is the highest percentage of scholarship they can offer. Previous years, last 2 or 3 years, we always have students receive 50%. But 5 or 6 years ago, we always have students receive 80% scholarships. So this year, the parent asked the grandma, how did he go with the examination? Because he wants to know the details about, how did he do? Then an interviewer told him, because his writing was super top levels, that's one of the reasons we're willing to offer him with highest percentage of scholarship. Let me share with you how excellent his writing with the same topic. Okay, Henry was the most famous criminal lawyer in France. This was the toughest case yet. The first girl argued about Henry was the criminal, but this boy, at the beginning of the story, he wrote it in as Henry admit himself was the criminal. I think this story supposed to be ending now. Now we don't need to argue later on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems the ending just appeared in the beginning paragraph. Isn't it? Then the whole court is going to, the procedure is we are going to prove and back up with lots of evidence, then keep arguing in between. Then with the story's line, eventually, actually the point is Henry was not the criminal, but who will be? Can you guess? Who was the criminal? His younger brother was the criminal. Can you believe that? I can't write that amazing story. His younger brother was the criminal. He wants to protect his younger brother. That's another level. So we have to shape our brain as if we do have very good or top levels of writing skills, descriptive skills of writing a story, we should twist the story as much as we can. But the other level beyond this story level is about, it's really related to outside of the box, can be creative. No, it's not only creative writing itself, it's about social issue. For example, love, family, conflict. So it's already dipped inside of the model level as family love from a year 6 boy. So after, we're always doing interview training if the students receive the interview offer. If before they're going to meet the principal on the day, before the day, we're going to polish their responding and response and summarize all of the shining components, help them to, develop their ideas one by one. So meeting or discussing with those brilliant boys and girls really helped me to rethinking about our writing skills. What kind of writing will be the top level of writing skills? After I discussed with this boy, I know that definitely the scholarship will be his, but I didn't expect as much as 80%. I think one of our parents asked for the EDU test result sharing. If we sit for Calibrate in July, will the result be shared? Calibrate, we have to respect. So EDU test system has to respect to every school. So Calibrate is one of the schools. They don't want to share the result. They don't want to expose the result. So if you write for the Calibrate test, parents, you won't receive any result from the school. And the other schools will not receive any results sharing from Calibrate. So if you got in, then you got in. If you didn't, then you didn't. Now you don't know any background or any detailed information from Calibrate's examination. That's a shame, a little bit. All right, where am I up to? Okay, this is writing. All right, writing is exceptionally important. Regarding back, let's talk back. If you're current year 5 students, how we are going to help you guys to preparing the scholarship, how we can help us to improve, ourselves abilities and potentials in the future. So we do have 3 different components which can support you always. Trial test class, which we named as SST6, give you the practice every second week of the whole test. Then you are going to practice reading comprehension test and math questions every second week, or you are going to practice verbal reasoning or numerical reasoning questions every second week. But in every week of the trial test class, you are going to write 1 piece of writing as a test every week. So after the scholarship examination, most of the boys and girls reply to me that, oh, this topic seems quite familiar with some of the questions we practice in the trial test class. So I'm very confident with this topic because we practiced previously in the class. This is very good feedback, very positive feedback. If they have been practiced enough, they should be familiar with this topic. They definitely have more ideas or easily to write it down or put into their writing with one of the high quality of the piece. And classic reading and writing class, it's happened in every campus, and it's really helpful for your child to improve their writing skills. Because my boy, I thought maybe, sometimes parents will consider it's another additional course, it's another time, it will be time consuming for him. But I have to tell you, all boys, Boxall campus, Cheston campus, Glen Ara campus, they received a scholarship. It's not only because of trial test class, this is basic, essential, but classic reading and writing class as well. For most of the boys and girls, writing is it's really take a long time to build up their sense and skills. And it's really shaped their, writing skills and consolidate, improve their writing skills. Indeed. My boy, last year, he wrote the examination for a scholarship for private school. Previously, in trial test class, his writing was always 14, 15, 14, 15. So 14, 15 out of 20. So the level is always average or a little bit above average. When I look into the details, there's always be some of the component is not quite excellent enough. He reads a lot. He reads a lot every day. He even reads Game of Thrones when he was in year 6, the whole series. So his reading was not a problem. His all multiple choice can be ranking into the superior levels, only writing. Because writing really needs you to push yourself, squeeze all of your potential into abilities and put into writing skills. And you really need to inspire yourself before you start writing and try to plan ahead. So after a whole year of classic reading and writing class, I could see that whole structures and language has been changed a lot. It's really shaped his brain and shaped his writing skills. So I recommend, if your target will be top level, the first level of boys' schools or co-ed schools, writing, you have to take this class. This is from my personal experience. Yeah, sure.
So I think I kind of understand the class, the CRW class. What I noticed is the teacher is getting them to read the famous books and then get them to try to summarize what the story is about.
Yeah.
And then there are questions and they will go through for like learning what the skills the author has applied.
True.
And then learning the vocabularies and structure of the sentences.
Yeah.
So do you mean that by study that, it's actually helping them shape the writing skill?
No. Reading is only extra reading. But reading the classic books really help them to develop the ideas, then twist it the story. But reading component only took half an hour to go. So classic reading and writing class, we got every lesson 1.5 hours. So the other 1 hour is all about teaching the writing skills. Then they try, the teacher give comments, then keep trying, then keep shaking. It's all about writing skills in detail. Yeah. So in classic reading and writing class, not only write for narrative and persuasive writings, because it's going to be too bored. So every 2 to 3 weeks, we are going to change the writing style. So we are going to having the poem writing, then stage script writing, letter to editors, all of different varieties of styles. Because seems that poem writing, we won't include it into the examination, right? But in poem writing, actually, all of your vocabularies has to be very sophisticated. Then metaphor and similar skills you are going to use can be easily carried on into your narrative writing. So all of descriptive skills will be very, very handy for you to carry on into. Then the third one will be free math concept class, because the students are from year 5 when they start moving into scholarship preparation class, but our test levels are always be year 7 or year 8. So free math concept class is giving the students extra time to learn year 6 and year 7 foundation as much as they can. Then understand their reports. Remember, every second week, we are going to have a examination. Then the following week, students are going to receive the report. Let's share the report together so you may be able to read a little bit more. So I'm sorry about that, it didn't show. So inside the report, you can see question 1 to 60. Then the first column will be every student's response. Then tick is you got a correct answer. Then crossword, which means you got a wrong answer. Then the third column will be correct answer. Percentage, which means how much a percentage students can provide the correct answer. The percentage is higher, which means the questions are very easy. Sometimes percentage could be very low, for example, 15%. So which means questions are pretty challenging. If the students give those questions are wrong, it's okay, it's acceptable. But for us, we want to support students. If the students' academic levels are pretty strong, we will try to analyze the questions. For example, percentage 48%, then he or she got this question wrong. So we are going to ask her or ask him to redo the question one more time to finalize why did she or did he wrong. So parents can encourage them, can maybe coming on site, sitting down with them together. So we can do that together as well. It will be really help them to avoid some calculation mistakes or avoid some silly mistakes. Then this graph shows, the triangle shows top school college average, and this circle shows students' levels. So comparing to the average, it's really accelerated. The students' levels are pretty top. It's ranked into the top 3%. Now at the back of the detailed analysis, we do have a progress tracking. After first, second, and third times of examination, the student's level, so the blue color is our average score, and red color is student's score. You can see from the beginning, he or she may not get used to this test environment, or maybe the speed didn't control very well. Then the second time and third time, he or she really stretched his levels or her levels, and comparing to the average levels, this distance was magnificent. So it's really show the progress about how did he or she manage the class, how did she or he manage the test paper. So those are the most important we are going to look for. All right, let's coming back to our play. Where is here now? Okay. Report sample. Can you see No? Stop share again. Now we're coming back. Go off the battery.
Don't have battery.
Here we are. That I may encourage every family, because the question paper, we are not allowed to take it back. Then we will, we will encourage all of our family members coming on site one more time, because every Wednesday we do have free helping class on top of the math class. So we do have just some student helper come back to help us to, unpack information to individual students. If they can sitting down inside with us, then we will be able to help them to understand more questions one by one. If you are willing to come in with them together, feel free to come in. That will be very encouraged. So you can sitting down with them to, understand more detailed information and keep encouraging them as well. We do have some individual support program. So we do have student helper to help them. You review the test papers, and we will keep tracking every student's progress if they moved into the scholarship preparation program. Our current year 5 students will move into scholarship program from mid of April. So if you are willing to, move your students into SST6 scholarship preparation program, please send an email to office. Then from then on, we'll keep tracking every student's progress, then keep reminding parents how to do. But in every year November, this year November, we are going to organize one-on-one family consultation. So we are going to summarize all of students' progress, then pointed out his strengths and his weakness, then give you some advice how to encourage him to improve in the last stage. Then based on his strengths and his weakness, we're going to provide some evidence that, or maybe advice how to apply the scholarships and which schools are maybe the best option for you or for him or for her. So we'll keep layers in between. Parents, please support them as well. This is our requirement, because each of the family will be very unique or independent unit. Unless you know your child and we keep encourage them, that you keep support them as well, we can do much better. So some parents ask me at the beginning of the scholarship preparation, they ask me whether or not he can be successful getting to the scholarship. I said, who knows? I mean, until last minute, no one knows. But keep working on, you will see his or her progress dramatically increasement. So that was amazing. So all of the progress, they build it up, all carry on into the secondary school study. So study routine, the review, and all of the progress following up, we're going to keep layers in between, keep communicating. If you do have some concern, we are willing to know maybe which schools you are willing to apply. So feel free to send email to the office about which schools will be your target schools. And feel free to send email to us that you are willing to move into the scholarship preparation program since mid of April. All right, this is a brief look about our previous year's scholarship test result. Too many, I just quickly skip them, because in the office, we do have so many results attached on the wall. If you are willing to, stay online, I may show you some of the detailed information about, I know it's quite late. Sorry about that. But if you're willing to stay online, we try to compare with some of the average level of essay writing and top level of essay writing. Maybe break down into details to analyze what kind of essay writing we're looking for. Okay, but till now, you are free to go. Then maybe you're free to enjoy your family time now. But for the other parents or maybe students, if you want to stay online with me, we're going to share some details. Okay, let's move. First piece of writing is the creative writing. Topic is my most extraordinary travel experience. I think back from the Christmas holiday, maybe every family or every student will have some experience about traveling. Let's have a look. Let's have a read. The first student, with average level, how did he or how did she write? My most extraordinary travel experience was when my family and I went to the Gold Coast in Queensland for a holiday. When we arrived, we took a bus to our hotel. The hotel was really big and had a big fountain in the middle of reception area that was making a water noise with little palm trees around it. My dad said, it's just like paradise. What do you think?
Vocabulary is those simple ones.
Yeah, vocabulary is not sophisticated enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
We do use two bigs in one sentence. That's forbidden. Let's have a look at, why I underline the first sentence. Why I underline the first sentence? Because it's just to repeat the topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just repeat the topic. My most extraordinary travel experience. Okay, my most extraordinary travel experience was. That's so dry. That's too dry. It looks like, the students are from year 2 or year 3 levels, but for year 6 or year 5 levels, we expect higher. We expect amazing or sizzling start. Then on top of that, yes, too big. The vocabularies are not, sophisticated enough. Then my dad said it's just like paradise. Some mistakes happened, isn't it? Punctuation mistakes. All right, move on to the top level of essay. The first thing I remember is sweltering heat. The air warm and a little sticky as it wrapped around my body, like being embraced by a friendly tropical rain cloud. The second thing I remember is the gentle sound of running water inside the vast hotel reception. A huge fountain greeted weary travelers, inviting them to sit a while and listen to the water's sweet music. I remember doing just that as my mom checked us in. Hear that? My dad said. That's the sound of 10 whole days in paradise. Yeah. So this level, you could compare it with the first level, will be totally different. The first sentence was amazing because all of his description, how heated it was, then how humid it was, it just dragged the reader into this genre straight away, isn't it? So like being embraced by a friendly tropical rain cloud, this just, metaphor and similar skills we can carry on. Then huge instead of big, vast instead of big as well. So those vocabularies compared to big was more interesting. Then hear that, your paragraphs, your dialogues, because dialogues really show the person's personality itself. Hear that, it's really show that's, surprising emotion. So your conversation, your dialogue has to show this person's personality straight away. With short sentence, short dialogue, then it could feel that my dad was surprised, was so impressed by the hotel. That's the reason, that's the difference compared to the two pieces. Cool, and how to describe heat. Now, how to describe the running water It gives you a very detailed example. You can maybe just try to copy down and using them straight away. I mean, for the creative writing, I may recommend one author whose name is Rhoda. He's one of the best storytellers in the world, even he passed away. But his book named Charlie and Chocolate Factory, the BFG, witches, they are still very popular. His techniques is just, at the beginning paragraph, use several adjectives and adverbs, drag the readers into the environment of the whole story. You are just immediately believe I was in the story. So these are the skills we can apply or we can borrow from the famous author. All right, the second piece, we are going to discuss about a persuasive writing or argumentative writing. The topic was parents should give teens incentives to achieve good grades. Okay, for year 6 students, what is incentives? We have to understand, right? Then we are going to talk about the first piece. I believe parents should give teens incentives to achieve good grades because knowing there will be a reward makes it much easier to study because studying is hard. Kids will study harder if they know there will be a prize at the end. Now I will tell you why. So this is the beginning paragraph, which means introduction paragraph. What do you think? Here we are. I believe. Normally in persuasive writing or argumentative writing, we seldom, but it depends. If it is a letter to the editor, it could be different, or maybe it's a speech, public speaking speech will be different as well. But normally, if we persuade someone to believe something, we may try to avoid use I or we, because we want to stay back in gentle or stay back objective to discuss the topic more objectively. If we involve too much of the emotion, sometimes could be not quite strong or not quite convincible argument. Okay, the first of all, I. So the first sentence is totally repeat, what the topics described. Because studying harder. Okay, then kids is oral language. When you start writing the persuasive writing, we have to try our best to avoid using oral language or informal language. We always need to use the formal written language. Kids, instead of kids, we can use children. Then top level of writing. Let's read together. Studying is a core for most children, so why not sweeten the deal? Oh, that's amazing. So a question asked every reader, why not? We can't find any reason why not, so we agree. There is nothing wrong with parents offering teens incentives for doing well at school. In fact, it should be encouraged. By giving children a gift of money when they received a high test score, parents are showing they are proud of their children in a tangible way. Incentives can also encourage children to keep studying hard in the future. Overall, rewarding young people for doing well is a good thing. All right, if we compare to the first writer, now I will tell you why. Then the second writer summarized as overall regarding rewarding young people for doing well is a good thing. So instead of repeating and telling your reader without any information, for the persuasive writing, we're willing to hear more information more. Why not is a question to ask every reader. Why not? Then some techniques has been applied. Test scores parents are showing they are proud of it. So inside of this paragraph, actually it gives you several points why I may agree parents should give teens incentives. Because first of all, being encouraged, it should be encouraged. We should encourage young children. All right. Then what kind of encouragement we can do? We can show the product of their performance. At the same time, we can show, or maybe we can give them a gift or give them money to show we're proud of them. So these are informations we're going to elaborate after the first paragraph. It shows that what I'm going to talk about for the second or third or fourth paragraphs. All done. Then